For us, I am George. We're all George. So today, Bitcoin's looking good once again. And I'm here to say many feel like Bitcoin is going to hit 100,000 by 2024. And that's because big money is about to enter. So let's talk about this and let's talk about everything else that's going on in the world today. Welcome. There's the market bell. Today we're off to a good start with Bitcoin on the U.S. market. Look at the U.S. market, very green right now. Okay, and Bitcoin is 26.7. Are we going to break 27 again? Well, let's see. What prompted today's rally? Well, a couple of things. Number one, in the U.S., we just had a big CPI reading, but retail sales came out today, and we blew away expectations. It's supposed to be a 0.1 increase, and then we went up to 0.6%. So that shows the American economy is still very strong. People are still out there spending, and that is what people want to see, what Wall Street wants to see. So next week's FOMC meeting, 97% chance there will be no rate hike. Okay, 97%. But the one afterwards may be. But this next one is predicted, is locked in. Basically, there's zero chance that Powell will be raising rates. Now, unfortunately, across the seas in Europe, Christine Lagarde does not agree with that call, because she decided to just raise their interest rate by 25 basis points. So now the ECB is at 4.5%, highest since May of 2021. Now, 4.5% is still below US's 5.25%, right? So a little bit behind, But you could see that rapid rise from basically 0 to 4.5. Europe is a little bit worse off than the US, though. So that's why they got to be more careful. The war is still ongoing in Europe, obviously. Energy prices are still higher, and commodity prices are higher. And I don't think Europeans like to spend as much money as Americans. That's just, I can't verify that. But, I just don't think any country on the planet outspends the U.S. For good and for bad, mostly bad reasons. but anyways, those of you guys in Europe, well, you're going to see interest rate go up by another 25 basis points, right? And this, surprisingly, could have been one of the reasons why Bitcoin went up today, has been driven upwards, because people hate inflation. No one likes to see higher prices, other than with your investments, right? But most people do not want to see their living expenses like food and travel and rent go up. And more people are starting to learn why there is inflation, why we have elevated levels of inflation, why the central banks need to raise rates, right? It's mostly due to overprinting, irresponsible overprinting of money. Not due to other factors that could come and go, but ultimately, why do we have inflation every single year? Because that's what the banks want. They want inflation, right? And due to what they're doing right now, basically just letting the money printers print unlimitedly forever, that's only adding more to it. Unwanted inflation, right? Also, oil prices right now is adding to inflation, because the barrel of oil has gone up to $90, the highest since November 2020. And this is due to OPEC countries cutting the production right now for whatever reason, maybe on purpose, to drive things upwards. So this is also adding to higher prices and inflation right now, right? But my point is this. People are starting to understand that in order to save your wealth, I guess, so to speak, to protect your buying power from decreasing over time from inflation, you need to have your money in something better. You need to have your money in something that can out appreciate inflation, that can help you reclaim your buying power back, something that will go up and up and up and up every single year. And the one thing that nothing can outperform, that's Bitcoin. And more people are turning to Bitcoin. So that's why prominent executives, these are all big executives, predict Bitcoin could surpass 100,000 in 2024. It's not really a bold prediction anymore. People may make fun of my thumbnails when I put 100,000 or 180,000 or whatever in the thumbnail, but these are from prominent executives or financial analysts or economists that are now all making the same kind of prediction. They know what's up. They know Bitcoin is the only asset that we have that's disinflationary, that's become more scarce every single year, and more people and companies and institutions are jumping in. I mean, it's as simple as supply and demand. Demand keeps on dropping. No, supply keeps on dropping. Demand keeps going up. It's that simple. So in 2024, I've referred to it as the quadfecta year for Bitcoin. There will be so much going on. Can Bitcoin hit 100,000 in 2024? Yes. There's actually, I think, a very good chance that we break through our previous high by the end of the year, not at the beginning, by the end of the year. And yes, we can surpass 100,000 as we enter 2025. I think that's certainly a possibility. Okay, what is the quadfecta? Well, you have spot ETFs coming, not only for Bitcoin, but also for Ethereum now. Think about it, Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs, spot ETFs. You have the halving event, obviously, right? You have rate cuts, yes, that will happen in 2024, not only in the US, but in Europe too and around the world. Okay, that will also affect things, and the presidential election. You look at it every single year, every single time we have a presidential election, that year is spectacular for markets. Spectacular. So that's also coming next year, right? We got 4 things, quadfecta of goodness that will definitely propel Bitcoin higher. Okay, that's why many people think 100,000 in 2024. That's nothing. That's nothing. What was the last prediction? The guy from I forgot his name. Tom Lee. Yeah, Tom Lee from Fundstrat said 180,000 by 2024. Right? And was it Tim Draper still thinks 250,000 by 2024 or 2025? Kathy Wood, she went out a little further to 2030, but she thinks it's 1.5 million in 2030. Well, why? Why 2030? Well, take a look at this. This is a pretty good look at the halving event and the many that will follow next year's. But, you know, when Bitcoin started, each 10 minutes, okay, whatever block was found, 50 Bitcoins was released. Okay, and then the one after that, in 2012, 4 years later, it went down to 25, okay, per block. Then 2016 went down to 12.5. Then it went to 6.25. That is where we are right now. Every 10 minutes, only 6.25 Bitcoins gets released. Starting next year, it gets cut to 3.125. Do you see this disinflationary nature of Bitcoin? Why it affects the price? Because it becomes twice as hard to get equal amount of Bitcoin every 4 years, set by code. And then let's skip a little bit further down, right? What about 2032, 36, 40, 44, 48, 52, 56? Look at it. Now you're starting to get sub 1 Bitcoin per block. In 2032, you're getting 0.781 only. Then in 2036, I know 2036 seems like it's forever, okay? But that's only in 13 years. In 13 years, Bitcoin will only be releasing 0.39 Bitcoin per block per 10 minutes. Just think about it, right? So this is the reason why Bitcoin is the one asset you should hold, because the supply keeps diminishing until we get to a certain number, 21 million, and then there will be no more ever. There's no other asset that we have that does this, right? There's nothing in comparison. Anyways, I just thought that's pretty cool, right? Pretty cool to look at. All right, now, in the meantime, why is Bitcoin moving? Well, because of some of the things I've said. Also, it could be due to some of the technicals, okay? Technicals like this, comparing what happened in 2019, 2017, 2018, 2019, right? We had many retests, and then we had a breakout. So, are we seeing something similar right now? I mean, you can make an argument, more retests now than before, right? So, does that mean Bitcoin is ready to pop? Here's another one. A bullish divergence in the RSI. Again, is Bitcoin ready to pop? Maybe. Technicals sometimes could be a good tool to look at to predict short-term movement. But long-term, we don't need no technicals. We know, I just explained, Bitcoins will go higher because demand is going to outperform supply, I guess. Demand is going to keep on going upwards while supply keeps going downwards. And here's an on-chain value map, and you can see all the peaks and all the bottoms of Bitcoin over the years, right? And this basically measures if Bitcoin's overvalued or undervalued. And right now, we're not in heavy or extreme undervalue, but we're definitely there, undervalued. We're not even at fair value, and we're nowhere close to heavy overvalued, right? And this next time when we go up to 200,000-ish, right, then we'll be into overvalued, but we're nowhere close to that right now. All right, and then lastly I saw this. Record number of views for Bitcoin on Wikipedia. So that's interesting. I used to show things like Google searches, right? And seeing, during certain periods you could see searches for Bitcoin go up. This is for Wikipedia, which is weird. But again, it makes a whole lot of sense. More and more people are starting to get educated on Bitcoin because they're tired of inflation. They're tired of central banks. They're tired of all the shenanigans. They're tired of their buying power decreasing, right? And people are interested in learning about ETFs. So it makes sense that a lot of people are searching for Bitcoin these days. All right, outside of Bitcoin, let's see. Vitalik's been busy. I just saw him in Token 2049, but now he went to permissionless, or I mean, they're around the same. I don't know which one came first. But basically, Vitalik's making a lot of moves, talking about the future of Ethereum, okay, which is very, very bright. And I just mentioned about Ethereum ETFs too. That's coming. There's no good reason to deny Ethereum ETFs, since it's considered a commodity too. But we'll see. But besides, derivative products, Ethereum still trying to figure out how to scale. They're working towards that. Right? But more and more people are paying attention because they're realizing that everything is EVM compatible. Everything is ERC standard, right? And all these layer 2s are only making it stronger, right? Look at this article. Pantera argues that layer 2 solutions like Arbitrum is driving Ethereum's growth, right? So even though you have sort of competition like Arbitrum and Optimism and Base they are all their, they're their own layers, right? Their own chains. But what they're really doing is making Ethereum's ecosystem stronger, because everything that comes aboard are EVM compatible, still using Ethereum's virtual machine, still using the same code base. I mean, and the same development tools, I should say. Not same code base, same development tools. So all these solutions are really just making Ethereum stronger, right? And that's why ETH supply keeps dropping like crazy, dropping even more so than Bitcoin on exchanges, back to 2015 levels, right? So that is very interesting. And then Polygon also published this. They are getting ready to move to Polygon 2. So they have some PIPs, which is Polygon Improvement Protocols, right? That basically will airdrop and convert Matic tokens to Pol tokens, okay? And basically change the gas token and staking token for the new chain to use Pol instead of Matic. So that's basically what this means, right? So yeah, Polygon is just giving you guys a heads up. So pretty soon in the future, I don't know, pretty soon, but in the future, it's going to be Pol tokens, not Matic tokens. And in case you're wondering why it's called Matic in the first place, because the chain used to be called Matic, and then they renamed themselves to Polygon. So I've always thought that was a weird thing. But now it makes more sense. All right. That is pretty much it. Let's see. Bitcoin is still doing pretty good, 26.6. Overall market is very green still. We got Coinbase up. Well, today's a good day for everything. Tesla's up, Mara's up, HUD is up. So, good all around. All right, let's do some Q&A. Space Vibe, I did see that. I popped in Discover Crypto's live chat a couple times, and every single person has a wrench. It's like they have enormous amount of mods in their live chat. That is kind of funny though. All right, let's see. Ryan Anderson, a new member, welcome. Let's see if I missed anything else here. BTC to 34K today. I don't think that's going to happen. Soul Bull, what's your thoughts on the new accounting rules with FASB? It's awesome. Michael Saylor made that happen. You got to give him 100% of the credit. Now, the accounting for businesses that hold Bitcoin is a lot more fair. It actually makes more sense. The previous way just didn't make sense. It scared a lot of companies. That's why a lot of companies refuse to hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet, because it just wasn't fair. Now it is. I guess in a way that's why they call it a fair value accounting practice. It's funny today. Today's overall very positive. Just last night, I talked about FTX dumping. Right, they're allowed to dump 100 million per week. I don't know when they're gonna start, but it is definitely still a concern. Right, 100 million, no matter what, even in a strong market, still could be scary. Still a lot of down pressure. So let's see what how the market reacts and if it can eat it up once they start doing that. But I think the biggest concern was over Solana getting dumped. But because there's so much locked, that are illiquid for FTX, they can't really dump it even if they wanted to. They have very little that they could dump. But who knows? SBF don't hold any Cardano? I don't think so. It wasn't on the sheet, the balance sheet of FTX that I showed yesterday. Or maybe they do, it's so little. I wanted to super chat this message, but it isn't working. It's okay. I appreciate the thought. You could just ask your question. Yesterday release of projects with highest development. Again, Dot and Kusama, what are your thoughts? I would say be very careful with figures like that. You know, I don't know how they really calculate it, like whether or not it's just like commits on GitHub or something. That doesn't really mean that they have the highest developments, right? So I don't know what metrics they're looking at or how they're measuring those metrics. I'd just be very careful. Me personally, I have a hard time believing that Polkadot and Kusama has the highest development compared to the other chains out there. I don't see it. But I could be wrong. Silver something. Appreciate it. Is there a Bitcoin price point where you turn bearish? No. Are you talking about when it's towards the top or toward the bottom? Because the more it falls, the more I get greedy and buy. So I don't know if you're talking about like if we hit 200,000 or something, then start turning bearish because I think it'll come back down. I would say this. At some point, right, you're going to have to start taking profits. So if you notice your portfolio no longer has 20, 25, 30% in cash, then that means you need to sell some off and balance that out, right? Once Bitcoin surpasses 100,000, I think almost all of you guys will start seeing that whatever cash pile that you have, or maybe you have no cash pile, is shrinking, right? Because Bitcoin and everything else in your portfolio is blowing up. So you got to remember, just keep taking profits. Make sure that you always have 20, 25, 30% in cash, and then I think you'll be okay. Now, if Bitcoin, by close to the end of 2025, let's say in October, November-ish, Bitcoin is already at 200,000, okay? Or even if it's not, 150,000 or 175, 200, 250. I would say that's a pretty good point to take a lot of profits, more so because based on history, that's usually when it starts coming down. I don't think I'm going to go to Token 24.9 in Dubai. I'm probably going to wait until the Singapore one until same time next year. I kind of really regret that I didn't go this year. But there's just too much going on in my life right now. Pavla, no, I don't think you have to do anything with your Matic. I believe the conversion will be some sort of airdrop mechanism, but it hasn't been announced how it's going to be done. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be some kind of airdrop. I'm all in M2, MT2, M games. I'm all in. I have only about 10% cash. It's okay, I guess, but really, you should double that cash pile. 20%. 20% is a good amount. But, going as high as 30, 35%, that's okay. But a lot of people are like holding like 100% cash or 90% cash, very little. That's where you get hurt a little bit. PMP, I think is a little too early for me to have a Corona right now at 8:55 a.m. Maybe a little too early for a beer. Golden bodybuilding, yes, I have heard of LTO Network. I don't know what they're up to these days, but before they were business play, doing private networks and public networks for businesses. Then I don't know what happened. They tried to get into NFTs or something like that. I don't know if they gave up on it. That was a weird move. So I have no idea what they're up to now. Big Row, I already mentioned this many times. I don't like the executives fighting each other. That's why I'm not bullish on Gala anymore. Just look at this. By 2040, which is 17 years from now, kind of scary to think about 17 years from now, but 17 years from now, there will only be 0.195 Bitcoins released per block, per 10 minutes, versus the 6.25 right now. And versus 3.125, it will be in 2024. I mean, there's no other asset on the planet that is on a schedule like this to cut its supply in half every 4 years. None. The oil industry, the gold industry, the silver and copper industry, I don't know what other industry there is for commodities. There is no other asset that you can buy where you are guaranteed to see its supply get cut in half every 4 years. And there's no other asset that you can buy that has a set supply that you know with 100% certainty. That's it. There will be no more. How do you secure a Bitcoin network when there's no more reward for the miners? They don't need to confirm blocks, but they can confirm transactions still. Okay, you can have nodes that'll just that get paid for transactions, so that'll still be around, and those nodes still power, and secure the network. Have you considered building a kit car? No, never. There are some cool kit cars out there, like building a Shelby Cobra. That's cool, but some of the kit cars I've seen just horrible. Like people try to build a Ferrari out of a was a Fiero or something. They look horrible, and then they're charging like an arm and a leg afterwards. Like, dude, who's gonna be buying that POS? Have I driven an AMG GTS? Best car I've ever driven? No, I have not. I have not. I haven't driven that many AMGs, to be honest. I love my 23 F-150 Lightning. Congratulations. I was blown away when I tested a Lightning. It is the best truck I've ever tested. Best EV truck, I should say. Although I haven't tested Rivian yet, but it's good. But hopefully you never have to tow anything, because I've read that it eats up battery life like crazy. I just came up on a 1-year anniversary of having my 2022 Toyota Tacoma. Big anniversary. Congrats. C63S. Nice. Nice car. Nice car. I'm still waiting for a G63 to plummet in price. They have been coming down, but they have not been. They're still holding their value pretty well. The new WRXs look nice. I mean, WRXs have not changed forever. Subaru gave up on it. There's no market for it, right? No one wants like these. I take that back. There is a market for it, but just Subaru doesn't know what they're doing anymore. I don't have hopes for Subaru. No one is excited about Subarus anymore. And they continue to use their crappy CVT transmissions. But overall, I think they've just given up on WRX and STI. I was going to say the market, there's no need. There's no niche market for it because there's not a lot of demand, but that's not entirely true, because now you have the Corolla GR, which is absolutely fantastic. I would actually literally get that for a daily driver. That is an awesome car, very practical. And then you have the Type R, and then you still have the Golf R. So it's a small market, but there's still demand. But no one I know is saying, oh, I got to get the new WRX or STI. Zero. No one's talking about that anymore. So they kind of lost that market. I have seen a new Mustang GTD, and I think it's a big mistake. No one's going to be paying $300,000 for that POS, okay? They're trying to compete with the GT3 or the GT3 RS from Porsche. Porsche doesn't even charge $300,000 for their GT3 RS. What makes Ford think that they can charge $100,000 more than a GT3, right? I think it's just stupid. I don't know what Ford is thinking. I mean, they can make good cars, but at that price point, forget about it. It makes no sense at all. How much will it cost the 2024 meetup in Nashville? Keep in mind, it's not a meetup. It's a full-blown conference, okay? It's a big conference. But I don't know how much tickets will be. But I'm going to make it more affordable than any other conference there is. Buy rental properties instead of cars. Yes, but you can't enjoy rental properties like you do with cars, okay? You can't drive a rental property around. There's a time to be smart and a time to just spend money, right? That's what cars are about. If you have the money to spend, great. If you don't, then of course it's a bad decision to go with a car rather than, say, a rental property. But rental property is not as easy as it seems, right? For most people, rental properties means that you got to get a mortgage and you got to deal with tenants and fixes and all these things, you know, that normal people don't want to deal with. So it's not as easy as it seems. It's daunting. I think it turns out that those aliens in Mexico were faked by whoever that person is. I bet he's gonna go to jail because of it. You can't just fake aliens in front of Congress and expect to get away with it. All right, guys. That is it. Overall, today is a pretty good day. Okay, we got some good news. No more rate hikes coming this month, at least. But in Europe, yes, another one. So that's no good. But overall, all that's doing is pushing people towards Bitcoin. They're sick of inflation, sick of rate hikes. That's why more and more people are coming in. So stay strong, my friends. I will see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.